Have you ever wondered why some people seem to stay strong, sharp, and full of energy well into their 70s and 80s, while others struggle with fatigue, pain, and health problems long before? The truth is, it's not just genetics or luck. The way you feel today, and how you'll feel in the years to come, is shaped by your daily habits. But here's the shocking part. Most people unknowingly engage in behaviors that are slowly damaging their bodies every single day. They wake up feeling exhausted, struggle with aches and pains, and assume it's just a part of getting older. But what if I told you that some of these struggles are completely avoidable? In this video, we're exposing 7 daily habits that could be secretly destroying your health. These are things that 90% of people do without realizing the long-term consequences. Some of them may surprise you. Others may be things you've been doing for years. But the good news? Once you know what's harming you, you can take action to stop it before it's too late. So, if you care about your health and want to make sure you're doing everything possible to live longer, feel better, and stay independent for years to come, hit that subscribe button now, because the information in this video could change your life. Breakfast. Some call it the most important meal of the day, while others believe skipping it helps them eat less and lose weight. But what if I told you that skipping breakfast could be silently sabotaging your metabolism, harming your heart, and even accelerating aging? For many people, mornings are rushed. Maybe you wake up late, grab a quick coffee, and tell yourself you'll eat something later. Or maybe you've fallen into the habit of not feeling hungry in the morning, so you just don't bother. The problem is, your body doesn't stop needing fuel just because you don't feel like eating. When you skip breakfast, you force your body to run on empty for hours, and that has serious consequences. The first issue, metabolic slowdown. Your metabolism is like a fire. It needs fuel to keep burning efficiently. When you wake up, your body has already gone 8 or more hours without food. If you don't eat, your body thinks it needs to conserve energy rather than burn it. Over time, this can lead to weight gain, insulin resistance, and even an increased risk of type 2 diabetes. But it's not just your metabolism that suffers. Your blood sugar takes a hit too. When you go too long without eating, your blood sugar levels drop, leading to fatigue, brain fog, and irritability. That's why so many people who skip breakfast feel sluggish, unfocused, or even dizzy before lunchtime. And if you try to compensate by drinking coffee on an empty stomach, you're only making things worse. Caffeine causes a spike in cortisol, the stress hormone, which can further disrupt blood sugar levels and put strain on your adrenal glands. And here's something most people don't realize. Skipping breakfast isn't just bad for your energy levels. It's bad for your heart. Research shows that people who regularly skip breakfast are at a higher risk of heart disease, high blood pressure, and stroke. Why? Because without food in the morning, your body goes into stress mode. It releases more adrenaline and cortisol, which can lead to higher blood pressure and increased cholesterol levels. Over time, this constant state of stress weakens your cardiovascular system, making you more vulnerable to heart attacks. Skipping breakfast also has a direct impact on aging. Your body relies on steady nutrition to repair cells, produce collagen, and keep your brain sharp. When you deprive yourself of essential nutrients in the morning, your skin can start to look dull, your hair may become brittle, and your mental clarity can suffer. Think of it like this. If you don't give your body the raw materials it needs to repair itself, how can you expect to stay strong and youthful? So, what's the best way to break this damaging habit? Start small. If you're not used to eating in the morning, you don't need to force down a massive meal. A handful of nuts, a smoothie, or even a boiled egg can be enough to wake up your metabolism and stabilize your blood sugar. Over time, your body will start craving food in the morning, and you'll naturally feel more energized and focused throughout the day. And if you think skipping breakfast is helping you lose weight, think again. Studies show that people who eat a balanced breakfast tend to consume fewer unhealthy snacks later in the day. Why? Because they're not fighting intense cravings or sudden hunger spikes caused by blood sugar crashes. The bottom line? Skipping breakfast isn't harmless. It's a habit that slowly wears down your metabolism, disrupts your energy levels, and increases your risk of serious diseases. If you want to take control of your health, Start by fueling your body properly every morning. Have you ever skipped breakfast and felt worse throughout the day? Share your experience in the comments. It might help someone else realize how important this habit really is. You wake up, have your coffee, and sit down to check the news or scroll through your phone. Then maybe you sit for breakfast, drive to work, or run errands while seated in your car, come home, and sit down again to relax in front of the TV. Before you know it, most of your day has been spent sitting. And while it might seem harmless, after all, everyone does it, what if I told you that sitting too much is as dangerous as smoking? It sounds extreme, but research has shown that prolonged sitting is directly linked to higher risks of heart disease, type 2 diabetes, obesity, and even early death. The reason is simple. Our bodies weren't designed to be this still. For thousands of years, humans were constantly moving, walking, bending, stretching, working with their hands. But today, we spend more time sitting than ever before, and it's silently damaging our health. One of the most immediate dangers of excessive sitting is its effect on the heart. When you sit for long periods, your blood flow slows down, your circulation weakens, and your arteries begin to stiffen. This increases the risk of plaque buildup, leading to high blood pressure, heart disease, and strokes. Studies have shown that people who sit for extended hours each day have a significantly higher risk of heart attacks, even if they exercise regularly. And that's the shocking part. Exercise alone isn't enough to undo the damage. You might think that an hour at the gym or a daily walk makes up for sitting 8 to 10 hours a day, but it doesn't. The human body is built for constant, low-level movement throughout the day, not just short bursts of activity. Even if you're hitting the recommended amount of exercise, long periods of sitting still put you at risk. But it's not just your heart that suffers. Sitting too much also slows down your metabolism, making it easier to gain weight and harder to lose it. When you sit for long periods, your body burns fewer calories, insulin sensitivity drops, and your risk of type 2 diabetes skyrockets. In fact, studies have found that people who sit for most of the day are twice as likely to develop diabetes compared to those who move regularly. And then there's the impact on your muscles and bones. Sitting weakens your core, stiffens your joints, and accelerates muscle loss. Have you ever stood up after sitting for a long time and felt stiff or sore? That's because sitting compresses your spine and shortens your hip flexors, leading to chronic pain, poor posture, and even an increased risk of falls as you age. The longer you stay seated, the more your body adapts to that position, weakening the muscles that are meant to keep you upright and strong. But perhaps the most alarming consequence of prolonged sitting is its effect on the brain. When you sit for long hours, blood flow to the brain slows down, reducing oxygen levels and impairing cognitive function. This can lead to brain fog, memory issues, and even an increased risk of dementia. Research has shown that people who sit too much have thinner brain structures, particularly in areas linked to learning and memory. So what can you do? The key isn't just to exercise, it's to break up long periods of sitting. Standing up every 30 to 60 minutes, stretching, walking around the room, or even just shifting positions can boost circulation and reduce the harmful effects of being sedentary. If you work at a desk, consider a standing desk, or take small walking breaks throughout the day. If you watch TV in the evening, get up and move during commercials. Even simple habits like pacing while talking on the phone can make a difference. The truth is, we live in a world designed for sitting. But if you want to stay healthy, strong, and independent as you age, you need to break free from that cycle. Your body craves movement, and the more you give it, the better you'll feel. If you're still watching, don't forget to leave a like. It helps this important message reach more people who need to hear it. You probably already know that water is essential for life. But here's the shocking truth. Most people are walking around chronically dehydrated without even realizing it. You might think, I drink coffee, tea, or juice throughout the day, so I must be fine. But the reality is, your body needs pure water to function properly. And if you're not drinking enough, it's slowly wearing you down from the inside out. One of the first and most overlooked signs of dehydration is fatigue. If you often feel drained, sluggish, or mentally foggy by midday, it might not be a lack of sleep, It could be a lack of water. Your body depends on water to deliver oxygen and nutrients to your cells, and when you're even slightly dehydrated, your blood volume drops. This means your heart has to work harder to pump oxygen throughout your body, making you feel more tired than you should. But dehydration doesn't just make you tired. It can also affect your brain. Your brain is made up of about 75% water, and even mild dehydration can lead to problems with focus, short-term memory, and concentration. Ever had one of those days where you keep forgetting things, struggling to focus, or feeling mentally sluggish? That could be your brain running on empty. Studies have shown that people who don't drink enough water have a higher risk of developing cognitive decline and dementia later in life. And then there's the impact on your kidneys. Your kidneys filter about 50 gallons of blood every single day, removing waste and toxins that your body doesn't need. But when you're not drinking enough water, your kidneys struggle to do their job efficiently. Over time, this can lead to kidney stones, infections, and even long-term kidney disease. Many people assume that kidney problems only happen to those with pre-existing conditions. But the truth is, chronic dehydration is one of the leading causes of kidney damage. One of the biggest hydration mistakes people make is waiting until they feel thirsty to drink water. By the time your body signals thirst, you're already dehydrated. And if you ignore that signal, your body starts rationing water, prioritizing essential organs like the heart and brain while sacrificing hydration in less critical areas like your skin, joints, and digestive system. That's why dehydration can cause dry, sagging skin, stiff joints, and constipation. Another common mistake, thinking that all liquids count as hydration. While coffee, tea, and sodas do contain water, they also contain diuretics, which make your body lose fluids faster. That's why relying on caffeine or sugary drinks for hydration can actually make dehydration worse. So how much water should you be drinking? A common rule of thumb is 8 glasses a day, but the truth is, your needs depend on your body size, activity level, and environment. A better approach? Pay attention to the color of your urine. If it's dark yellow or has a strong smell, you need more water. Light yellow or clear urine is a sign that you're properly hydrated. One of the simplest ways to improve your hydration is to start your morning with a glass of water. After sleeping for hours, your body wakes up dehydrated, and drinking water first thing in the morning helps jumpstart your metabolism, flush out toxins, and rehydrate your cells. Keeping a bottle of water nearby throughout the day can also help remind you to sip regularly instead of chugging large amounts all at once. The bottom line? Not drinking enough water is one of the easiest ways to weaken your body over time. If you've been feeling more tired, forgetful, or sluggish lately, it might not be age. It could just be dehydration. Drinking enough water is one of the simplest, most powerful habits you can adopt to protect your health. Do you think you drink enough water every day? Let me know in the comments. How many glasses do you usually have? You might think of sleep as just a way to rest and recharge, but in reality, it's one of the most powerful tools for preserving your health and slowing down aging. Yet, so many people neglect sleep, sacrifice it for other priorities, or struggle with poor quality rest without realizing the damage it's doing. If you've been feeling exhausted, struggling to concentrate, or noticing more wrinkles and sagging skin, your sleep might be to blame. And it's not just about feeling groggy. Chronic sleep deprivation weakens your immune system, accelerates brain aging, and increases your risk of serious diseases like dementia, heart disease, and diabetes. When you don't get enough quality sleep, your body enters a state of stress. Cortisol, the stress hormone, stays elevated, leading to higher blood pressure, increased inflammation, and faster breakdown of collagen, which keeps your skin firm and youthful. That's why people who sleep poorly often look older, have more fine lines, and struggle with stubborn belly fat. But the effects go even deeper. Your brain depends on sleep to clear out toxins and repair damaged cells. During deep sleep, the brain flushes out harmful waste proteins, including beta amyloid, which is linked to Alzheimer's disease. When you don't get enough sleep, these toxins build up, increasing the risk of memory loss, confusion, and neurodegenerative diseases. Studies show that people who consistently sleep less than 6 hours a night have a significantly higher chance of developing dementia later in life. And it's not just about the quantity of sleep. It's about quality. Many people spend hours in bed, but still wake up feeling exhausted because their sleep is constantly interrupted or shallow. One of the biggest mistakes? Using screens before bed. The blue light from phones, tablets, and TVs disrupts melatonin production, the hormone responsible for making you feel sleepy. Even if you eventually fall asleep, your brain remains in a lighter, less restorative state, leaving you tired the next day. Another mistake? Drinking alcohol or caffeine too late in the day. Many people assume alcohol helps them sleep, but in reality, it fragments sleep, reducing the time spent in deep restorative stages. And caffeine, even consumed 6 hours before bedtime, can delay sleep onset and reduce overall sleep quality. So how do you fix poor sleep habits? It starts with consistency. Going to bed and waking up at the same time every day, even on weekends, helps regulate your body's internal clock, making it easier to fall asleep and wake up refreshed. Creating a relaxing bedtime routine, reducing screen time at least an hour before bed, and keeping your bedroom cool and dark can also dramatically improve sleep quality. Your health depends on how well you sleep. If you've been ignoring your rest, it's time to take it seriously. Poor sleep doesn't just leave you tired, it accelerates aging, weakens your brain, and makes you more vulnerable to disease. If you believe sleep is key to good health, click like. It helps spread this message to more people who need to hear it. You walk into a grocery store, and what do you see? Shelves lined with brightly colored packages, promising convenience, great taste, and even healthy benefits. But what most people don't realize is that processed foods are one of the biggest threats to their health. And they're everywhere. From breakfast cereals to frozen dinners, from soft drinks to energy bars, our modern diet is filled with highly processed foods that are silently damaging our bodies. You might think, I don't eat that badly. But even seemingly innocent choices like flavored yogurt, deli meats, or granola bars can be loaded with harmful ingredients. The worst part? Most people don't even realize how much of their diet is made up of processed food. And by the time the damage becomes visible, weight gain, fatigue, chronic inflammation, it's already been happening for years. Let's start with how processed foods accelerate aging. Your body is designed to run on whole, natural foods, things that grow from the earth or come from animals in their natural form. When you replace these with highly processed products full of preservatives, artificial flavors, and chemicals, your body goes into a state of chronic inflammation. This inflammation doesn't just affect your digestion, it damages your skin, speeds up wrinkles, weakens your organs, and even harms your brain. One of the worst culprits: refined sugar. You probably already know sugar isn't great for you. Do you realize just how much of it is hidden in processed foods? Sugar triggers the production of advanced glycation end products, AGEs, which break down collagen and elastin, the proteins that keep your skin firm and youthful. That's why people who consume a lot of processed sugar tend to age faster, with more wrinkles, sagging skin, and a dull complexion. But it's not just about looks. Excess sugar also increases the risk of diabetes, heart disease, and even Alzheimer's. Then there's processed vegetable oils. Found in almost everything from salad dressings to fried foods, these oils, like soybean, corn, and canola oil, are loaded with inflammatory omega-6 fatty acids. While your body does need some omega-6s, the problem is that processed foods contain way too much, throwing off the delicate balance between omega-3s and omega-6s. The result? Inflammation, joint pain, brain fog, and an increased risk of cancer. And speaking of cancer, many processed foods contain dangerous additives that have been linked to tumor growth. Artificial sweeteners like aspartame, preservatives like sodium nitrate found in deli meats, and food dyes like red 40 and yellow 5 have all been connected to hormonal imbalances, DNA damage, and a higher risk of developing cancerous cells. Another major issue with processed foods: they trick your brain into overeating. These products are designed to be hyperpalatable, meaning they're engineered with just the right combination of fat, sugar, and salt to make them almost addictive. Ever noticed how hard it is to eat just one chip? Or how a fast food burger leaves you craving more an hour later? That's because processed foods hijack your brain's reward system, making you crave them more while leaving you feeling unsatisfied. But here's the scariest part. Processed foods don't just harm your body today. They set you up for long-term health problems that can take years to develop. The constant spikes in blood sugar lead to insulin resistance, paving the way for type 2 diabetes. The chronic inflammation contributes to heart disease. The artificial additives and preservatives mess with your gut bacteria, weakening your immune system and increasing your risk of autoimmune disorders. So what can you do? The first step is awareness. Start reading labels. If an ingredient list is long, full of chemicals you can't pronounce, or contains added sugars, artificial flavors, or preservatives, put it back on the shelf. The shorter and more natural the ingredient list, the better. Next, focus on whole, unprocessed foods. Fresh vegetables, fruits, high-quality meats, fish, nuts, seeds, and healthy fats should make up the bulk of your diet. If something comes in a package, ask yourself, would my great-grandparents recognize this as food? If the answer is no, you probably shouldn't be eating it regularly. Of course, cutting out processed foods completely isn't realistic for most people. But small changes make a big difference. Start by replacing sugary drinks with water or herbal tea. Swap out white bread and pasta for whole grains, or, better yet, nutrient-dense alternatives like quinoa and sweet potatoes. Choose real butter over margarine, olive oil over vegetable oils, and grass-fed meats over processed deli slices. Your body is constantly rebuilding itself, cell by cell, based on what you feed it. If you fill it with chemicals, preservatives, and artificial junk, it won't function the way it's supposed to. But if you give it real, nutrient-rich food, it has the power to heal, repair, and keep you feeling strong and energized for years to come. Which processed food is the hardest for you to give up? Drop a comment below. I'd love to hear your thoughts. You can eat the healthiest foods, exercise daily, and get plenty of sleep. But if you ignore your mental health, your body will still pay the price. What happens in your mind affects every single part of your body. And yet, mental health is one of the most neglected aspects of overall well-being. Stress, loneliness, and a lack of mental stimulation are not just minor inconveniences. They are silent killers that slowly weaken your body, increase inflammation, and accelerate the aging process. The worst part? Most people don't even realize it's happening until it's too late. Think about it. Have you ever experienced persistent anxiety, low energy, or a general feeling of being overwhelmed? Maybe you've noticed that you're more forgetful, less motivated, or easily irritated. These might seem like emotional issues, but they're actually physical warning signs that your mental health is affecting your body in ways you can't see. One of the biggest dangers of ignoring mental health? Chronic stress. You might think stress is just a feeling, something you can push through, but in reality, it rewires your brain and body in dangerous ways. When you're under constant stress, your body produces high levels of cortisol, the stress hormone. In small amounts, cortisol helps you stay alert and focused. But when it's elevated for too long, it starts to break down your body from the inside out. Excess cortisol weakens your immune system, raises blood pressure, increases blood sugar levels, and even speeds up the aging process. It also shrinks the hippocampus, the part of the brain responsible for memory and learning. This is why people under chronic stress often experience brain fog, forgetfulness, and difficulty concentrating. Studies show that long-term stress significantly increases the risk of Alzheimer's and other neurodegenerative diseases. But stress isn't the only mental health factor that affects your physical body. Loneliness and social isolation are just as damaging. Research has found that loneliness is as harmful to your health as smoking 15 cigarettes a day. It increases the risk of heart disease, stroke, depression, and early death. Humans are social creatures. We are wired to connect with others. When we don't, our brain perceives loneliness as a survival threat, triggering the same fight or flight response that stress does. This leads to higher inflammation levels, weaker immune function, and an increased risk of anxiety and depression. And here's something many people don't realize. Not using your brain enough can be just as dangerous as not using your body. Your brain needs exercise just like your muscles do. If you're not challenging it with new information, problem solving, or social interactions, it starts to deteriorate. Lack of mental stimulation increases the risk of dementia and cognitive decline. Watching TV for hours without engaging your brain in meaningful ways doesn't count as stimulation. it's passive consumption. Your brain thrives on learning, creativity, and deep conversations. Without these, it starts to lose its sharpness. So what can you do? The good news is you can train your brain, protect your mental health, and even reverse some of the damage caused by stress and isolation. The first step, reduce chronic stress. Identify what's causing your stress and take active steps to manage it. Deep breathing, meditation, and mindfulness exercises have been scientifically proven to lower cortisol levels and improve brain function. Even just 5 minutes a day of focused breathing can significantly reduce stress-related damage. Next, prioritize social connections. Make an effort to talk to friends or family every day, even if it's just a quick phone call. Join a community, take a class, or find a hobby that involves interacting with others. If you struggle with loneliness, volunteering or participating in local events can help rebuild social connections. And most importantly, keep your brain active. Learn something new every day. Read books, do puzzles, learn a language, or play a musical instrument. Challenge your brain the way you challenge your body. Studies show that people who engage in lifelong learning and mentally stimulating activities have a much lower risk of developing dementia. Your mental health is not separate from your physical health. It is deeply connected. If you've been feeling off, exhausted, or stuck in a negative mindset, it's time to take action. Start small. Reduce stress, build connections, challenge your mind, and you'll start to see how much better you feel, both mentally and physically. Do you have a personal way to reduce stress? Share it in the comments. Your tip could help someone else. You might not think about it often, but your strength and flexibility are two of the most important factors in determining how long you stay independent. When people picture aging, they often focus on gray hair, wrinkles, or slower reflexes. But what really limits mobility and quality of life is muscle loss, joint stiffness, and a lack of flexibility. The unfortunate reality? Most people don't realize this until it's too late. As we age, our muscles naturally weaken, a process called sarcopenia. After the age of 30, we begin to lose muscle mass at a rate of 3 to 5% per decade if we don't actively work to maintain it. By the time we reach 70 or 80, the loss of strength can be so severe that simple tasks, getting up from a chair, climbing stairs, or carrying groceries, become difficult or even impossible. This loss of muscle isn't just an inconvenience, it's a major risk factor for falls, fractures, and loss of independence. But it's not just about muscle, it's about how your muscles and joints work together. If you don't move them regularly, your joints become stiff, your range of motion shrinks, and suddenly, things you once did effortlessly, like bending down to tie your shoes, feel like a challenge. Lack of flexibility leads to pain, poor posture, and a higher risk of injuries. And the worst part? Most people assume that staying active is enough, but it's not. Walking is great for cardiovascular health, but it doesn't build the muscle strength needed to prevent weakness and falls. The same goes for doing chores or running errands. They keep you moving, but they don't actively strengthen your body. So what happens when you neglect strength and flexibility? Over time, your body adapts to a smaller and smaller range of motion. If you don't squat, your legs weaken. If you don't lift, your arms lose power. If you don't stretch, your muscles tighten. Before you know it, you're not avoiding exercise because you're lazy. You're avoiding it because your body physically can't handle it anymore. But here's the good news. This is completely reversible. Studies show that even people in their 70s, 80s, and 90s can regain strength and flexibility with the right exercises. The key is to start now, before weakness sets in. Building strength doesn't mean lifting heavy weights at the gym. Simple bodyweight exercises like squats, push-ups against a wall, or seated leg lifts can activate your muscles and rebuild lost strength. Even light resistance training with bands or small weights can make a huge difference. Flexibility is just as important. A few minutes of daily stretching can relieve joint pain, improve posture, and make movement feel effortless again. Simple stretches, like reaching for your toes, rotating your shoulders, or doing gentle spinal twists, can prevent stiffness and keep your body mobile for years to come. The secret to aging well isn't found in expensive treatments or miracle supplements. It's in your muscles. The stronger and more flexible you stay, the longer you'll maintain your independence, your confidence, and your ability to enjoy life. The real question is, will you take action now, or will you wait until weakness and stiffness take that choice away from you?